Hey, we're cooking with gas here on the Jewcast.
Okay, careful using a phrase like that.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries, of a sham.
Tradition!
Oh, shut up, Carl! Shut your goddamn Jew mouth! You people are why there's war in the Middle East!
Gekakken af een jam.
Nebbig.
Ver poepoepoe.
Vermischt.
Verkakt.
Vertut.
Verstonken.
Fartig.
Exactly.
You what Grammy Hall would call a real Jew.
Shlemiel Shlemazel.
Hey, everybody.
We're at it again.
Another episode of American Jew. Jonathan Randall here.
I'm Jordan Ferber, and we're bringing you all the best Jewish news, and we're going to talk about some Torah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the best Jewish news, actually,
Well,
but it's Jewish news.
It's a bit of the same.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We've been telling the same tale for thousands of years.
Still can't have peace in the Middle East. There was a lot over the weekend. Targeted strikes between Israel and Palestine over at the Gaza Strip.
Yep.
Over 20 Palestinians were killed. I heard 4 Israelis were killed. This was some of the first targeted attacks that Israel did. Apparently, they killed a big member of Hamas since, I think, 2014, I had read. The struggle is real. It keeps happening. We just can't achieve peace. And unfortunately, a lot of civilians are dying. I saw a dead baby in Palestine was being carried through the streets. It's very sad.
I tell you, it seems that these things happen whenever they try to have a ceasefire or a truce or something, right? It was like a ceasefire.
Well, now there's Egypt was able to broker a ceasefire, which they are currently having now. But that's what keeps happening. They have a ceasefire for a little bit, and then someone sends a missile, and then, Israel goes back or back and forth, whatever. Chicken and the egg, who started it first.
Right.
It doesn't matter. The truth is, the Palestinian people are somewhat oppressed by Israel. Hamas isn't a good organization, but all Palestinian people don't agree with that. And, it boggles my mind that we don't have more sympathy for these people. We've been in their shoes. We've been people without a land. We've been people misplaced from our land. We've been people that have been persecuted. We've been people that have been murdered. Yet we still are kind of treating these people almost the way we had been treated.
I feel like you get to these extremist movements, and none of them are really, it seems to me, following any of the rules in the Bible or the Torah. Almost all the scriptures talk about treating your fellow man as you would treat yourself.
In this week's portion, it actually says, "And if a stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall not wrong him, and you shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God." I mean, that kind of basically sums it up right there. This is the Bible. This is, what the Jews are supposed to follow.
Right.
This is the words from God. He's saying it. I don't know why we can't, follow this and take this to heart and figure out the solutions to have peace in this area, to have this be a home for Palestinian people and Israelis and Jewish people, and have it be a place that I guess is kind of encouraging and spreading and inspiring peace and love throughout the world, instead of this constant hate, these senseless deaths. And it's just sad. And, the Great March returns, of course, the protest by the Gaza Strip that's been going on, for a long time. Most of it's a lot of peaceful protests, but there are kids that will throw a Molotov cocktail or throw something over. But, these are kids rebelling. These aren't like the people of, Palestine. Like, Jews have this conception like, oh, Palestinians want to kill us all. Like, that's not true. Most of them are just people that want to live. They want to have clean water. They want to be able to get food. They want to be able to, and there was fishing restrictions put on Palestine that were lifted as part of the ceasefire now. They just want to be able to live with electricity and with plumbing, with everything, and have a happy life in a home that was once theirs that they got kicked out of. And, I know this land is Israel's land according to the Bible or the UN after World War II, but it should be inclusive, not exclusive, and we should try to create a home for everybody, not just Israelis and Jews.
It's like, you teach a man to fish, there goes your profits. Okay. You're not going to be able to sell them as many fish.
That sounds like a like a Jewish trope would be. Well, people usually say, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Jews say, teach a man to fish, there goes all your profits.
All of the religions sort of have that same basis of love and acceptance and treat your fellow human man as you would want to be treated yourself. I think that's I would say that's a good moral compass, right? I mean, that's
pretty much. I mean, you don't need a book to tell you that. I think that, this is something that we should all know. That's what I have. Unless you're a psychopath, the theory I have that people know the difference between right and wrong. I know the difference between right and wrong. I don't need some book that was written years ago to explain to me what the difference is. Like, I know inside me, telling me what's right and what's wrong, and I could follow that path. And I think most people know that. And I think it's obvious that treating people with love and respect is the right thing to do.
100%.
We've been talking about, someone actually asked me this, Jordan, and they said, it's weird that you guys talk about the Torah portion because your whole thing's about being culturally Jewish, not religiously Jewish.
Right.
And the Torah portion is something religious. But I guess we try to give our more secular opinions on it and outlook and what we think about it. And, it's relevant to the Jewish people. And there have been some interesting things that we've taken from it. And we've also been able to talk a little bit of smack about it.
Yeah, I feel like, there are bigger plot holes in the Bible than there are in Avengers Endgame. So we definitely go through it and try to – I think it's interesting to go through it and still try to – take away a lesson that is commonsensical or makes sense as a way to live your life. And I think that, this week's Torah portion, it kind of is all over the place. It's like commandments. They reiterate a lot of the sex stuff. It's about what you can eat. It's about don't wear blended clothing.
Don't try to create hybrid animals. Was part of it.
Yeah. Don't let cows fuck sheep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that.
It says, it's about adultery. Don't commit adultery.
Okay, yeah.
The amount of time they spend telling you not to fuck your cousins and your brothers and sisters is like, there must have been a problem.
There must have been a lot of that going on where they keep on like, and once again, do not do that.
I mean, that's part of the whole thing. Like, if you are insisting that your children only marry other Jewish people and you live in a really small community.
I had a friend he dated a cousin, but it was a cousin through marriage. But still, that is the thing that's very important to a lot of Jewish people, keeping it in the Jewish faith. To be Jewish, your mother has to be Jewish. I know a lot of people whose father's only Jewish, but they identify as Jewish. And it's just so weird, this exclusivity. And, I'm a Jewish person. To me, when I date, a lot of times women will be like, oh, well, is it okay that I'm not Jewish? Do you care? Like, I could care less. I don't care what religion a person was born into. That doesn't, validate them or give them more or less worth. It's the person they are, the character they have, the actions they do. That's what matters. And, I mean, it's sad. And it actually, I think, would be a good thing if we could start really going outside of our races, which we have, and outside of our religions, and keep doing that more and more and more and more, and then create the world where it's everybody's everything instead of, being secluded.
Yeah, I want to be able to wear polyester sometimes. I like a cotton poly blend.
Yeah, nothing. It doesn't stop me from wearing anything. But there are some people that take it seriously. With areas of your beard that you could shave your head, shave and cut your hair. I know when I was growing up, your sideburns to the bone. It couldn't be higher than you couldn't cut them higher, or it was like an issue at the Hebrew day school that I went to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think.
What do you mean? You had to have them? They had to be a certain length?
Yeah, they had to go to the bone on the side of your face.
Huh?
They had to be at least that long.
At least that long.
Yeah, that's where the kind of the payas come from.
Right, right.
The curls, as a lot of our Gentile friends.
My beautiful Jewish locks.
And Elvis did not have those, by the way. Those were not Elvis's ones.
No, those were mutton chops. Those were not kosher.
Those were hey, mutton chops.
Mutton.
Again, this Torah portion, it's all I'm God, I'm the best. Don't worship idols. Don't take my name in vain and stuff like that.
Right. It says don't steal.
Okay, don't steal. Or don't lie. Those are good ones. Yes, you shouldn't steal and you shouldn't lie, and people should know that.
Do not insult the deaf, which is like what? How are they going to find out? It says also, don't put blocks in front of the blind.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
You know, that's...
Do we need the Bible to tell us that? Yeah, like, how bad were the Jewish people back in the day when they were like, hey, it was really boring in the desert. There wasn't a lot to do.
Yeah.
So messing with the blind and deaf
I
was
mean,
like
seriously, back
the
in the day,
entertainment.
back in the day, the Jews were known for their pranks.
You know, it talks about charity in this week's Torah, which you
Yes.
know, something that's good. You know,
Yeah, it says when
people
you're
should
harvesting
give charity.
the land, don't take everything. Leave stuff for the poor and the and strangers that might walk through.
That's good. Talks about equality before the law. You know, that we should all be equal before the law.
Don't turn to ghosts either. Don't ask ghosts questions.
Oh, so like you can't be a medium?
Yeah, no mediums allowed.
No mediums allowed,
No.
huh? Don't stand by when someone else, you know, is getting hurt or their life is being threatened, you know, like, you know, step up. This is a good thing to do. You know,
Right.
if you see wrongdoing, see something, say something, like
Right.
the MTA says.
Don't be putting that shit on World Star. Get involved.
Yeah, right. Don't just stand there videoing it.
It also says that you shall not falsify measurements of any length, weight, or capacity. So basically, you know, don't short my bag, buddy.
Don't be lying about how big your pecker is.
Listen, I wanted a pound of pastrami. This is clearly less than a pound. Your finger was on the scale, sir.
Yeah, right? I hate when they do that. I'm always keeping an eye out. You know, it talks about don't slander, don't gossip, don't take revenge. This is another thing that applies to what's happening with the Palestinian people. You know, don't take revenge. Well, they send a bomb. We're taking revenge against them. And of course, there are some merits. The drone strike that they sent out, they killed a member of Hamas. Okay, that's good. But they sent over 350 things. And I know Palestine apparently sent 700, but these people are struggling, and the Israelis aren't. Another thing that I think is interesting this week's Porsche, which apparently a rabbi claims is the cardinal principle of the Torah. That was Rabbi Kiva said that, and I guess Hillel had said that the entire Torah rests on this commentary, which is this: love your fellow as yourself. And I think that's something that we've been talking about in this podcast. It's something, of course, we've been talking about when it comes to the Palestinian people. And this is the attitude, this is the mindset that we need to have.
I think this is what we should be. I mean, that's part of why I think it's interesting that we go through the Torah, because you boil it down to all these little things. Ultimately, it's pretty simple.
Right? Love your fellow like you love yourself, which is very hard
Yeah.
to me because I hate myself.
Right.
So does that make me want to hate everybody?
Love a stranger as you would love yourself, but don't fuck your cousins. Don't bang.
No.
Don't bang your family.
No family banging is allowed. Drawing the line.
Yeah, you're not even allowed. I mean, you know, the fact that you're not allowed to talk to ghosts is, you know, pretty telling.
It's going to be like, God doesn't know what he's talking about. Or he's going to give you some secrets about the afterlife that you're not supposed to know. I guess there's not a lot of Jewish mediums that I know about.
No, I don't know. I don't know of too many Jewish mediums.
Gosh, maybe I should become the first Jewish medium.
The Jewish medium is like, listen, I can talk to dead people, but it's, you know, it's a waste of money. What are you spending it? I'm just going to send you positive affirmations from them. It's not like I'm going to impart any wisdom.
Hey, just make people feel good. But some interesting stuff in this week's Torah. You know, I think the things about loving people like you love yourself. If someone does wrongdoing, don't just hate them. Like, let them know what they're doing that's bothering you and try to help them do good.
Right. The best revenge is a healthy dialogue.
Absolutely. And don't have revenge in your heart. Be like, let's all try to be good people, you know? I mean, I know now we get all hippie-ish on this thing and be like, just love each other, man.
Yeah,
but
man.
It's true. That's what this world needs. We're so divided by religion. We're so divided by politics. We're so divided by countries, by land. And like, we gotta not be divided by these things and realize that no matter what our differences, we all have one thing in common, and that we are all human beings. You know?
Yes.
And we need to cling to that and have that be the most important thing, rather than, this is our land, this is your land, you're not welcome in our land, stop trying to get our land, whatever. Like,
No,
let's just, the land is here for everybody. This isn't anybody's land.
The song is, this land is our land, this land is your land, this land was made for you and me.
I know. That's an American song, though, right? Is that about America? Yeah,
I think it's about America, yeah.
we gotta get that. Well, except for the Native American Indians,
it-
that song didn't apply to them.
It doesn't sound as good in Hebrew.
Okay, right?
It's more aggressive.
There are other Hebrew songs I guess, that they have, but they're mostly about God.
Yeah.
And walking his way. But I can't imagine that God would want us to do this to the Palestinian people and treat them so poorly. I mean, not that I believe in God, but I can't believe that a divine being that's all powerful and knows everything thinks that that's the right way to go. And we got to figure out a way. But, I was reading that, like, it's not going to end because it's, it behooves the leaders of Hamas and, Netanyahu to keep things going the way it is. If they give up the Gaza Strip and there's the two-state solution, then Israel has to worry about like 2 million more people to take care of,
Yeah.
And if we take out the real leaders of Hamas, there's just going to be another, fringe organization that's going to step up and that's going to, cause probably more problems. So we got to figure out a way how we could live in unity, how we could target the people that are preaching the hate and are causing the violence, and do good by the people that are just trying to live.
Amen.
All right.
Yeah. Well, so take that, people who are asking, why do we spend so much time talking about the Torah?
Yeah, wow.
With our ignorance.
This podcast has really changed, We started off, we were talking a lot about anti-Semitism and some weird Jewish things, and I feel like the more information and knowledge that we gathered about, like, what's happening in Palestine, like, the more, passionate I know I've become about their plight and, trying to have peace. And I hope that we could spread that. And, if there are other topics that, anyone that's listening to would like us to discuss or think that is cool, we had some people send us some, different, like, Jewish things that they have for sale, Jewish items that we talked about, the kosher switch beginning. Feel free to email it to us, AmericanJewPodcast@gmail.com. Like, we're open to talking about more things about Judaism and expanding the podcast. And, we appreciate everybody that listens. And
we'd love to hear from you. These shows aren't that long. So, send us a couple of prompts of things you'd like to hear us talk about American Judaism, and we will tackle it.
Yeah, or if you have some good recipes, please let me know, because I love my Jew food.
I will tackle topics, that's for sure.
And, of course, check us out on social media. We're basically at American Jew Podcast on everything except for Twitter. We're at American Jew Pod. And, we really appreciate you guys listening. You can check me out on Instagram at Jonathan Randall.
You can always find me on Instagram at Beatnik Nudnik. And hope everybody has a nice Shabbos.
Yeah, I hope everyone has a peaceful Shabbos and there are no missiles or deaths.
All right. Goodbye.